In the Center for Art in Woods Beyond the Trees exhibition, artist Dorothy Gill Barnes creates sculptures from trees.
Dorothy works with the tree as it's living, so she could be working and manipulating the bark over a 20-year period. As she cuts the bark and the branches, it grows into certain shapes that she's looking for. And the piece isn't completed until that tree is ready to shed that part of the tree or die. And that's when she removes it from the earth.
I talked to her by phone at her home in Ohio.
My name is Dorothy Barnes, and I'm originally from Iowa, and I'm now in Ohio. The things that I like to do most in my artwork are outdoors. I like very much to work with wood. I am now adding a little bit of glass once in a while, but mostly being outdoors matters to me and has since I was a child. The wood is very raw usually. Bark is my favorite material. The springtime, when the bark is softening and I go to look for material, it's a lot of fun. I like being outdoors. When I was little, we had a backyard in Iowa, a place where my sister and I used to play under the asparagus bed and make little parks and things like that. And I often used materials that I would find outside and put them some way into the house and decorate with them. I found ways to do things like decorating the stage when our little village would have things going on. I didn't have any regular art training until I went to college and university. Both places got a little too much of the drawing, and painting was not terribly interesting to me. But I still like to work outdoors and started, I think, designing things from the use of wood and doing quite a lot with materials for my own clothing, quite a lot of sewing. When I graduated, had some opportunities to show work and then to exhibit and to teach and do other things in different parts of the country where things were very different outdoors in each place. In the time of year when there is no bark and I have to go somewhere else, I've been fortunate to be able to go down to Australia to work where the time of year is different. So I can get the bark that will come off. Usually in my part of the world here, it would be through early May to through July. With the knife, I can take from a tree that needs to be trimmed or for some reason can share its bark with me. I can cut it and it comes off just a zip. So fun. It comes off really loose and easy to use. I can work with it directly, or I can dry it and even put it in the freezer. Went to Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa first, and then I went to 1 year at Minneapolis College of Art where I started doing some sewing and stitchery and fabric, but didn't go over very well. And I went to Iowa City where I graduated. That's where I met my husband, and we were both interested in art and music. We were married, and I came to this area in Ohio where we both taught. And I was able to meet a lot of people and get going with opportunities to show my artwork in other places. I never have had a class in sculpture. I have always loved it and wanted to work in 3 dimensions, and so I did a lot of that on my own. I sort of taught myself that part, but when I showed my work, then I got invited to work in places where I'd met a lot of other artists. Everything kind of became 3-dimensional, not usually standard, which we would call sculpture. It was more playful, I think, and related to nature.
How do you decide what materials should be in each piece?
It depends partly where I am and what's available. Right now I'm working with paulownia, and we don't have a paulownia tree around here, but I thought it was really funny that a tree would have a hole down the middle. And so I'm having a wonderful time getting acquainted with it. I have a friend in the Philadelphia area who's sending me some more, something he found along a railroad track. And I'm so excited about it. It's just so fun.
How do you come up with your ideas?
I don't know. If they tear a certain way and then when I tear it off, maybe sometimes I leave the edges rough. Or I find that some of it is thicker than others and it just feels good in my hand. And then the shapes and forms are related to what it wants to do for itself. Some of the best of my things that I've worked with are root things from trees that have come down. And I hear the sound of the chainsaws in my neighborhood and just go really quick and see what they've got to offer. Sometimes people are real helpful. People will call me and say, hey, Dorothy, they're taking down this or that. And I get it before it gets in the grinder. I think a lot of my work looks different from the other work. I'm not embarrassed that they don't look alike. If they look too much alike, I would never do them again. Somebody asked me for some of my work, and I tried to copy the one they liked, and that was a big mistake, and I've never done that again. The variety is helpful.
Dorothy told me she's still involved with teaching.
I am called a visiting artist at Ohio State in the glass department. I don't get paid. I don't have to pay them. I sometimes do because they work hard for me. But the reason they hire me and give me a space to work, I think, is because they want someone other than people in glass to provide some other ways of working. So I mix up some things with wood and ask them to put glass in it. And it's just a new way of making a variety of presentations to students to think about natural ways to work with glass.
Dorothy, I saw you have been very active in social movements.
Well, I care about peace, and I run a peace organization every Saturday, and we have been for about 10 years. We're a group of 9+. A lot of other people join us different parts of the year. We try to be part of the Central Ohioans for Peace. I also have been interested in some other things that relate to nature and to the community here in Worthington, where we have down here at the MAC, a group of people who come together who care about the arts and music and dance. It makes the area lively for young people, and it's a nice place to go and very friendly. So I try to get over there for events. I don't know, I just come and go from places where I think of my husband and his music. He's not living any longer, but I like to follow the music events here. We have a beautiful piano in our living room. He loved it. He taught some classes here on Saturdays, but he was mostly at Ohio State University in music theory and composition, so he wrote music as well. I miss the music.
Whatever happened to that sister from the asparagus patch when you were kids?
Mary Teschner. Oh, well, she grew up and she became a docent in 2 major cities at the Chicago Art Institute and also in the Naples Museum in Florida. I have my 3 boys and a girl. All of them are in music and art. And then I have a daughter who's a poet. And I'm lucky to have such a nice family.
I saw on your website that you were born in 1927.
Yeah, I'm 88 years old now.
What's the secret to a long and happy life?
Oh, I don't know. I love vegetables and I love chocolate. I like to eat and I like to keep active. I try to move around every day and going up and downstairs properly. But I'm getting really old. I have aches and pains and a sore shoulder, and I wear a back brace occasionally when it hurts. I think I owe my bicycling interest to my good health because I was very active as a bicycler. At least 3 times a week I would go 10 miles to get groceries up the hill. I'm really going to try to get back to it.
I have one final question about getting older, okay?
Okay.
Did you ever drink alcohol?
A little bit, not much. Lately I have half a beer and then I put a cork on it and I have the other half the next day.
Well, this makes me feel better because I'm a believer in moderation in drinking is good for you.
Yeah, good with popcorn.
Popcorn?
Well, yeah, when I really have a little fun with my little beverage in the evening or something, I have my other half of the bottle of beer and have some popcorn with it.
Well, I am heading downstairs now for my nightly beer, and I shall raise my glass to Dorothy Gill Barnes, a magnificent artist and human being.